What it is, what it ain't. It's your girl AMBRE Alert, okay? And I am back with another video. Okay, so it's still February, you guys. So we are continuing our Black Pioneers Black History Month edition of these videos, okay? So we're going to get into it. It is important for me to say that I wanted to record videos for the Black Pioneer women first. So now we're diving into Black Pioneer men. Men that have changed the country, men that have, black men that have paved the way for us to be where we are now, and that have shed light on the hardships of black people and the black experience. So with all of that being said, if you're ready for me to talk about the Black Pioneers, the men, the strong, the bold, and the beautiful, I need you to like this video right now, and I need you to subscribe right now, okay? So we're getting into it. Before I go into detail, I just want to say that I just want to show you guys some body real quick. I'm just kidding. But seriously, you know, I've been working out and stuff, so I just wanted to change the angle up a little bit. So I have switched up my camera position really quick. You know what I'm saying? If you're not paying attention, but you need to pay attention, I am actually crossing my leg right now, which is a huge, huge big deal. If you've been on this channel for the past few months, then you know that I got into a really bad hit and run car accident, and I was on a walker for a long time, and I've been walking with a cane now, but it is almost my 6 months since the accident, so I will be doing an update video for you guys, because I do have 2 videos talking about my car accident some months ago. So if you want to check that out, just scroll down, you know what I'm saying, you'll see that later. It's very important for me to update people on my progress, just because a lot of people think that they can't, you know, things like that can't happen to them. And you know, with me, I was minding my business. I was watching where I was going and everything. I didn't have my headphones in or nothing like that, and I still got hit by a car. So I just want to be an advocate for it, just because a lot of people are dying from car accidents and having, you know, major car accident injuries. And you know, it takes a long time to rehabilitate your body and your mind and your spirit. And I just want to show you guys, if you're going through the same thing that I'm going through, that you can get through it. Period, period, period. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to get into the Black Pioneer video. So the Black Pioneer that we're going to talk about, his name is James Baldwin, and he is a novelist, and I never heard of the word essayist before, but he's an essayist and a playwright during the 1950s to the early 1980s, okay? So, he was born August the 2nd, 1924 in Harlem, New York. That's where he's from, you know what I'm saying? So, he was born during the Harlem Renaissance, so that probably inspired him to want to write, and played a major role in his development. He did go to school, and he was in his school's, his high school. He was in his school's magazine as a writer, and I feel like that's where he got his feet wet, and that's where he really started to gravitate towards being a writer. And, you know, high school is the thing. I was in my high school newspaper too, so I get that. Okay, so we're going to fast forward to after high school. He wanted to go to college, but he had to put his college dreams on hold because he had 7 siblings that he had to support. So he started doing any type of odd jobs that he could get his hands on at the time. And he started to work at a railroad track company in New Jersey for the Army. And this is when he first started to encounter racism. Like, I guess on his breaks, his lunch breaks, he would want to go in a restaurant or just grab a drink at the bar, and he would be told that he couldn't come in at all, or he'd be turned away because of the color of his skin. He's a black man, you know. And I think this had a deep effect on him as anybody black during this time. It really affected him in a bad way. Like I said, he started to do odd jobs after. Oh, he did get fired from this job, this railroading job. So he had to just, you know, do whatever he could to support himself. And in 1943, his father passed away. And ironically, on the same day that his father passed away, his mother gave birth to his eighth sibling. And to me, that's probably when he had enough. And he probably realized that, you know, if I stay home and if I take care of all of my family members, like, I'm never going to be able to get out and do my own thing. So this is when he decided to leave home, and he started to live with another writer named Richard Wright, and he started to create his first novel. And he joined a fellowship so that he could help pay his rent during the time. And when he lived with Richard Wright, he published The Nation, Partisan Review, and Commentary. Those were the three essays or novels that he created during that time. After that, he moved to Paris, and that's when it really allowed him to free himself from the restrictions of the topics that he wanted to write about. As I say that, you know, it's a lot of racism going on in the United States during the 1940s and 50s. So he moved to Paris so that he could feel free to write whatever he wanted to write. And part of his writings were, most of his writings were writing about the black experience. So he first wrote Go Tell It on the Mountain, and that was published in 1953, and it was a book about growing up with father issues and issues with religion. And a lot of people in the black community have father issues, and also a lot of issues with religion, because we're constantly being forced by family members or people in the community to fit a certain religious category. And it's hard. Okay. In 1954, this is when he published Giovanni's Room, and this was about a gay man living in Paris and dealing with his homosexuality. And this was huge because homosexuality and being gay was something that a lot of people didn't talk about. It wasn't on TV, and it's a totally different story now, but back during these times, that was something that you really did not say. You did not say it, you did not see it, you did not talk about it, okay? So him feeling open enough to create a book like this and to publish it must have been huge for him during this time, because there was a lot of homophobia going on, you know, back then, whether you were white or black. But I can imagine if you were black and gay during this time, that it would have been even worse or even harder. So he also wrote Just Above My Head, which was a story about two men being in love, which was published in 1978. And then he also wrote a book about being in an interracial relationship called Another Country, which he published in 1962. So it is important to say that even though the country was in a very, you know, racist state of being during that time, and homophobic state of being, he was openly sexually fluid, meaning that he liked women and men. And he just believed that a lot of people in the United States or in the world, period, are sexually fluid. They just don't talk about it, you know? So he wasn't afraid. He said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to talk about it, okay? So throughout the years, he also created several books and essays about the black experience. He wrote Notes of a Native Son in 1955. He wrote Nobody Knows My Name, More Notes of a Native Son in 1961. And Nobody Knows My Name was his first novel or essay book that sold 1 million copies and was on the bestseller list. And I actually read some of it and I thought it was very powerful and very touching to read. He, even though he wasn't like an activist in the civil rights movement, he definitely like spoke about racial issues throughout all of his work. And I feel like it just it definitely played a role in the civil rights movement. He definitely had his voice known. You can definitely feel the tension and you can cut it with a knife, okay, when he wrote anything down. So, another bestseller and read that actually surpassed his even wildest dreams was the first, The Fire Next Time. And that was a book really made for white people. He wanted white people to understand their role in racism and what they, you know, how they partake in it and how it feels to be a black person and what it means to be a black person in America. And I believe that that book really opened people's eyes. And like Nobody Knows My Name, The Fire Next Time also became a bestseller and sold 4 million copies. All right, so his actual first play that he ever did was called The Amen Corner, and it was produced at Howard University, so which that's really cool, in 1955, and it later went to Broadway. And he also did other plays as well. He wrote Blues for Mr. Charlie, and that was actually a novel that was based off of the murder of Emmett Till, and that later went to Broadway as well and was turned into a play, which is very cool as well. He also wrote Going to Meet the Man and Nothing Personal During the Civil Rights Movement, talking about racial issues. From 1970 to 1980s, he also brought attention to racial issues in America between blacks and whites, especially after the assassination of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Critics say that his work got a little bit more real because there was serious murders happening and it was racially motivated. So his work became a little bit darker, but the darkness was the reality of the United States at the time. So, you know, he did eventually die December the 1st, 1987 in France at his home. But I feel like his whole life, he reached his goal of becoming a very good writer. He did that. He was an advocate in the civil rights movement, and he is a black pioneer. So I just want to say thanks for watching. If you like this video, I need you to give me a like. You know what I'm saying? Comment below. Tell me how you feel about James Baldwin. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.